So it looks like the Democrats are still trying to point the finger at different people except themselves on why Kamala Harris lost the election. So let's listen to this sister here, and she'll break it down too. I mean, I've broken it down. Many people have broken it down. I think a lot of these Democrats are in denial as to why they lost, but she got some good points. Let's listen to this.
Tesla, let me start with you. The Trump team is going to say it
Sister Tesla, I think I've heard her name with, I think with Tariq Nasheed.
was about Trump. Democrats are certainly pointing at a whole lot of different things, as we just laid out. But your former guy, Bernie Sanders, says it's more broadly about the party. What's your take?
Well, let me just address Bernie Sanders right out the gate. I want him to go back and have a seat in that folding chair. You remember that folding chair meme that was going around with Bernie Sanders? He needs to have a seat. The bottom line is, although what he said, it may be true, Bernie Sanders never supported VP Harris. And I'm appalled, by his statement. He waited until the very last minute to endorse, very much like he did with Hillary Clinton. And then he did not do anything to try to help get her elected. So he's not in position.
So Bernie Sanders, she's saying that he didn't endorse Hillary Clinton right off the bat. You got to remember though, Bernie Sanders was technically the front runner in that election that Hillary Clinton, became the Democratic nominee for the presidency and eventually lost to Donald Trump. So I would say he had a pretty good reason not to endorse her and probably was pretty pissed off about it because he know that they sabotaged his campaign in so many ways to where they made it to where they, that the Democrats, that people had to choose Hillary Clinton to be the Democratic nominee. And so I can't really get upset with him about that. I think Kamala Harris the same way. So I mean, every time Bernie Sanders runs for president, but eventually he got to get over it. Like, look, this is how the Democrats are. If you went in there again thinking you was going to be the front runner to be the nominee for president, and I mean, if they got you the first time, what they say, fool me once, shame on me. No, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. However, George Bush said that. So he got to kind of get over that. But yeah, I can understand why he didn't, jump on a Hillary Clinton bandwagon at first.
To really speak. He did not do that with Joe Biden. He immediately endorsed Joe Biden. He threw the progressive movement completely under the bus and said that Joe Biden would be the most progressive president in our recent history.
And then you think about Kamala Harris. Think about it. They did threw her out there with like 100 days until the election. So I can understand why he wouldn't endorse her, just like Barack Obama didn't endorse her right at the back because they were talking about there need to be a primary. I mean, people with sense, with common sense, were like, there needs to be a Democratic primary because this does not look right. And we don't know if she's the most qualified because, damn, just a year ago, Nancy Pelosi, before wanted Joe Biden to drop her from his party and find somebody else to become the Democratic, the vice president. These are just facts. So then all of a sudden, you want us to endorse her. So I can understand again why Bernie Sanders, just like a lot of people, were like, "Nah, we're not endorsing her because this ain't right." And just a year ago, hell, she didn't even make it to like when she ran for president 4 years ago. She got knocked out like the first freaking day. So how in the heck all of a sudden she's the best candidate?
I don't appreciate his take because I think it's disingenuous. But the main issue is there was never a chance in hell, and I'm just being very clear, never a chance in hell that VP Harris was going to have a shot at this. I said it, Dan, in June. I said it in July, that setting her up for a 100-day campaign, a woman of color in particularly, a 100-day campaign was a disaster. Joe Biden should have got off the last 2 years. They should have had a primary and ran somebody for that seat. So there's a lot of finger pointing that's going on, as it should be. But there's a list of things, but I won't take up too much of time, but I can go down the list of the bag that these consultants have fumbled. Most of the people that you ran in that segment right before me should be quiet because
yeah, Joe Biden should have got out like she said a couple years ago, because you could see that his mind was gone, and people were saying it on the outside, but all the Democrats were saying, "Oh, he's fine. His mind is nothing's wrong with his mind. He's cognitive." He's still capable of being the president. But y'all see, he did I saw he did an interview. Well, he did like a press conference not too long ago, and he was looking pretty good and speaking pretty well during that press conference, which makes me believe that running for the president, campaigning, all that stuff is stressful on the body. And at that age, you should not be stressed out too much because it will show mentally. Anything that and when it disturbs you physically, mentally, I mean, it's going to show. And I think that's what happened. So now that he was off the campaign, know he wasn't going to be president, finally came to grips with what happened. I think he's like, hey, shoot, I'm just finna go and retire and do what I gotta do, make this money until I die. Whatever, get these great benefits that nobody else in the world got. Live as long as Jimmy Carter so I can vote on my deathbed. Man, he got, got it made.
Because they were the ones that were telling Joe Biden to get off the horse. They were the ones that were selling this dream. White women did not vote for Hillary Clinton. They knew that then, and they knew that now. So they sold a dream like a timeshare scam, and I put the blame on them.
And white women were not going to vote for Kamala Harris. No. Let me say it like this: white women were not going to vote against their interests, and their interests are their husband, their white husbands, and the people who are still in power, who have been in power, and who they want to continue to be in power. Again, there's no way in the world that you can go out there. People all the time go out and talk plenty of noise about what they don't like. Think about your job. Okay. Think about you be at work and the people you work with, and maybe even you will sit here and complain all day about your supervisor, about your co-workers, about your bosses. They complain about the whole system, the whole program. But yet, every morning they would get up, get dressed, go to work, and do their job every day, clock in, clock out, and then do it like clockwork every day without fail. Go home, complain about what's going on at home, and go at home and complain about what's going on at work. Get back to work the next day, do the same thing, complain about everything that's going on. But they will not, as much as they complain, they will not go against their interest of making sure that they get paid every day so they can pay their bills. They may go to another job. They may look for another job and find something that may pay more. They may have better benefits. They may think it'd be a little less stressful, but when they get there, they realize that it ain't really, the grass ain't green on the other side. They'd be like, well, damn, why in the heck did I leave them in the first place? I need to go back to where I was at. Same thing with white women voting against white men. It's not going to happen. They can get out there and complain about how the system is ran, misogyny, racism, sexism, whatever you want to call it, trans, what you call it, phobias, whatever you call it, elemental P phobias, all that kind of stuff. They will talk women's reproductive rights, whatever. They'll find anything to have some sort of power, even if it's that little, even if it means very minute to the system. But in the end, when they look at it like, well, man, hold on, my husband or my man or or this side of this party here, they running things, and I like the way they run it because with them, I ain't got to really worry about too much. I mean, I go out there as long as I do what I need to do. They're not really asking for extra. They'll make sure everybody's taken care of. I mean, Trump did say whether the women like it or not, he's going to protect them. Well, hell, whether I want protection, that's what these women are saying. So heck no, they're not going to vote against their interests.
And when you say them, who specifically are you talking about? I mean, if when people say to you, what was the problem, right? Putting aside everything we just laid out, when people say to you, hey, I got to run, but real quick, what do you think? What do you think the problem was? What do you say?
Well, one, Joe Biden was the problem. He should have got off beforehand. But I do want to address the consulting class that have fumbled, like you ran in the package, that have fumbled $1 billion bag. They've been doing this since Obama ran. They have literally came into these cities. They did not listen to the grassroots. They said that they knew it all. They spent all the money internally. They spent all the money on celebrities. They did not listen to the needs of the people. So they got this.
Can you imagine what they did with $1 billion? And then supposedly $20 million in debt. And so now Kamala Harris is like running the campaign or trying to get out there and get more money from people so she can help pay off people that she owed. $1 billion. Donald Trump didn't even get nothing close to that. I think the way they railroaded him here, even the money he was getting, he was losing because of these trials and all these court cases and these lawsuits he was going against, he was facing. But you had $1 billion that you got. Remember, white men for Kamala, black women for Kamala, white women for Kamala, black men for Kamala. You had all these people raising this money. And what did she have to show for it? Rap concerts. She did rap concerts while she was touring. And all she talked about was reproductive rights, which again, I don't like the word play. You got to be careful of how people take words and then flip it. Remember the word woke. Woke was a Black American thing that we use amongst each other. Say, oh man, stay woke. Because it was like, don't fall asleep with being comfortable in this system. That's all it really meant. But then it got flipped to something that meant that everybody used it, and it was then it turned into like a far left term. And it's like, how in the heck y'all hijacked that? Couldn't understand it. Then you talk about reproductive rights. Well, if you're going by the words, you got the rights to reproduce all you want to. Just what I'm saying? Just, go have sexual relations. You can reproduce as much as you want. But that's not what that meant. That meant it is that I need the right to delete a baby if need be, whether it's for a medical reason or just for the hell of it or just for selfish reasons, because I went out there and did something and oh man, I got caught up and now it's gonna mess up my career. What was I thinking? Delete the baby. Stuff like that. Like I said, they play on words, even like the phobia, the word phobia. When they say you like transphobic, common people will feel like phobia is a fear. Like you talk about like arachnophobia, the fear of spiders. I just remember that because it was a movie called that years ago. That's how I learned about the word phobia as a kid. But anyway, like to say transphobic, the original definition does not mean that you are afraid of transgender people or homophobic, or you're afraid of homophobic people or gay people. It means if you go and look in the definition or the thesaurus, you look up at the thesaurus, phobia is also another way of saying a dislike, a disdain, don't agree with. So that's where it started out at. But then as you got these, like I say, these people on whatever side of the fence it was, they turned it into y'all afraid of us. Y'all just afraid. No, ain't nobody afraid. We just don't agree with what your lifestyle or how you living. We don't want that in our house. That's it. You want to go over there and do it? I don't agree with it. Now we could go back to the old days where where people get stoned for stuff like that. But I'm not even gonna go that far. Just keep it over there. That's all that means. So yeah, you gotta be careful with this word play, this word salad. But again, these people use this money to promote a bunch of stuff that had nothing to do with your everyday life, had nothing to do with, how much money went in your pocket, how much money going out of your pocket. They were talking about emotional things just to say, hey, this is something that we can talk about because this is something we can control, when really it makes no sense at all in the grand scheme of things, comparatively, let's say that, to real issues. Because you have people say, yeah, I want I want like reproductive rights, but I also need money. More importantly, I need money and finances to deal with the kids that are here. We can, if we're gonna compare the two, then we can talk about kids that ain't here that I may not want to be here. We talk about that later. That's in the future. You know what I'm saying? That's a fairy tale right now. But right now, in reality, the kids I do have, I need to take care of them. And so, what are your policies going to do to help me take care of the children that I have now? You ain't got none. I got to go with this guy that's a misogynist, that's a racist, that's a felon, that's got all these court cases and been being accused of assaulting women and stuff like that. I don't want to go his way, but what he does, don't, like I said, what he eat don't make me poop. So I mean, he got to deal with that. But this is what y'all put out there. You got this man here with all these quote unquote flaws, but his policy that he talks about and the things that he actually has done in his past presidency helped me. You can sit here and talk about how bad he is. You don't tell me what you're gonna do, but it doesn't help me. So unfortunately, if I'm gonna participate in this process, I gotta participate in my best interest. If he messed with you, touched you, grabbed you in the pee, then you go ahead and sue that man. If this man did something that was illegal and you feel he need to be prosecuted financially, and he did something illegal financially, you feel he need to be prosecuted, handle that. But if you think he did something to circumvent the election of 2020 and you think it's illegal, okay, do it and prove to me that he needs to be guilty and put him in prison. But until then, I got to go with my personal best interest.
Not exactly what they earned. And it's unfortunate because the people will now suffer as a result. It is time, respectfully, to the George Clooney's of the world, the Hollywood of the world, respectfully to the James Carville of the world, who they're still listening to, who the last time he was successful was in the 90s. It's time for them to have a seat and listen to the grassroots and what it is that they're looking for. And until they do that, Democrats will continue to fail. I can't speak on the Republican side because I haven't worked on Republican.
Yeah, you got to listen to the grassroots, and the grassroots will tell you, hey, what grassroots are worried about, and you're talking about grassroots, which mean people that started from the bottom, that's in the dirt, in the mud. We need money. We know this country is built on capitalism, so we need to make money and keep money in our pocket. That's where it starts. That's where it starts. Fix the dollars, everything else. Because my thing is this here. We can sit here and like to get all emotional about stuff, but say that, well, their policies may hurt us. They will say, what if they take away like the books in school or critical race theory? Okay, we know how they can flip that critical race theory to where, dang, that might get rid of slavery, get the slavery out of books. Okay, I understand it, but you know what? People like myself and people who go out there and get it, we've been, targeted. Things been trying to be taken from us our whole life, forever. So we're like, okay, they want to take the stuff out the books. That's fine. I build my own library, and I'll let my kids, you know what I'm saying, and I'll read and I'll study and research myself and have my children research my stuff. That's fine. Take it out of school. They gonna know it. And when we do book reports and stuff like that, we're gonna speak the truth. It is what it is. Oh, but if they don't like it, this and the third, okay, well then you know what? I'll find somewhere else for my kids to go to school. Hey, put more money in my pocket. I can afford to send my kids to private school. You see what I'm saying? So you find people like I say, like myself, we find ways to stay on top, to keep our head afloat, to keep going, because that's the only way. Hell, that's the only way you grow. And what's the only way you stay alive? If you allow, if you make excuses and want to be a victim and woe is me, you never get nowhere, and that's how you die faster.
Campaigns.
Stressed out, I heard crashing out on these TikTok and Instagram videos and next videos, crashing out because your candidate lost, but your candidate wasn't running on anything.
But what I can tell you about on the left side, on the Democrat side, that it has been a disaster for a very long time, and it's time that the grassroots revolts against it, and I hope they get it together this next time around. And I say that as an independent, by the way.
All right, Steve Cortez, Trump did not win because he's popular, right? He is still largely unpopular in the country. So what do you think it was that led to the result that we've seen?
Well, Dan, I would challenge that premise, because when you win the popular vote by over 4 million votes, by definition, you are popular.
And this goes back to another question. Who did these people poll during this election? Because you always seen the poll that said it's close, or Hillary's winning, or they're tied. Not Hillary. Kamala's winning, or they're tied. Kamala's up by 2 points, or they're tied. Give or take 2 or 3 points, plus or minus 3 points. Error, like I said, the error ratio percentage. It was always close. It was never Trump was up or way up. It was that they've made these polls and it's either tied or Kamala's winning. But then when the election was over, the whole map, except for some spots, were red, like some spots you could sneeze, were blue. Except for that, the whole damn country was red. So again, who in the heck? That's why you can't never go by polls. Like, who in the heck are these people polling?
Well, that's not
Now,
true.
perhaps he
Come
wasn't in
on.
the past, but he is now. No, it is true,
Wait, hang on,
Dan.
hang on. It's not true that the popular vote has been counted. We'll see. He's probably going to win the popular vote. We'll see what the numbers are.
Okay, but he's
just
certainly gonna
because
win by
you
4
beat
million.
someone else, this was largely an election. Let's not pretend. This was largely an election.
Well, see, hold on. You can't get mad at the dude. Don't cut him off because y'all misuse the word popular vote. See, the word popular vote is cool when the Democrats win, when anybody or a politician win. No, no, Joe Biden won the popular vote. That means he's more popular. But then, no, he just wanted, you just get rid of the word popular and use the word majority. Don't use popular because, like I said, when people start voting for their interests, I ain't got to like you. I ain't gotta like you to work for you. But as long as you know what I'm saying, you said you paying me a good salary and I enjoy what I'm doing and it's helping the people. I ain't gotta like you at all. So, but like I say, but I'm on your squad right now for my best interest. So don't use, like I said, so they might have to just change the word popular and just use he won the majority of the votes.
Where people voted against the other person, right? The notion that somehow Donald Trump is wildly popular is not borne out by the polls. He's wildly unpopular. But what's even more unpopular is the Biden-Harris administration. And that's clear.
Yeah.
And so the question becomes, it wasn't, come on, be honest. He didn't win this because America at the whole loves Donald Trump.
Dan, I do not accept your premise at all. He would
Really?
not have won the popular vote. But regardless, I think what's really
Now he would have won it if you're going by emotion, then he wouldn't have won the popular vote. But when you're going by necessity and policy, then he won the quote unquote popular vote.
important here. Clearly, it was also, at the same time, both things can be true. It was also clearly a wholesale rejection of life under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And let's just be really substantive and tangible here. Grocery prices were far and away the number one issue in all of the extensive polling I did of the battleground states. Inflation generally, but grocery prices specifically. And by the way, when we look back throughout all of human history across the globe, high food prices drive political earthquakes.
So let's say he did polls, right? And it said the number one thing was like grocery prices. So take it like this. Let's say he, and this might put it in perspective for myself too. Let's say he polled 1,000 people, right? And it was like, if the election was here now, you know what I'm saying, who would you vote for? Who would you want to win? Then let's say 70% people say Kamala Harris. That's who I want to win. Okay, who would you vote for? And they say I would like to vote for Kamala Harris. But then they said, what's the most important agenda? What's the most important agenda? What's the most important thing you feel it should be on the agenda? And they'll say grocery prices. Well, if you're dealing with grocery prices and the economy, well, if you're dealing with the economy, if that's the most important thing, then it's say like 70 or 80% of people say it's the economy. Well, then that's a Donald Trump thing because that's what he based his campaign on, is the economy. So now you got to figure now which way you're going to vote. So as it gets down to it, they're telling you the 1,000 people that you're polling, and something like she was saying, they're not listening to the grassroots. They're telling you the economy is the number one thing, and we want Kamala to win. But if you don't deal with the issues that I have, I can't vote for you. You see what I'm saying? It's like, you can't just say, hey, I'm a Kamala fan. All right, they're going to vote for me. No, then what's your most important issue? The economy. So you would think that the Democrats would have been like, okay, we need to come up with a policy, plans, and procedures to better the economy. And we can't deny that we are in office right now and the economy is going to hell in a handbasket. And we can't sit there and act like it's not our fault. We had nothing to do with this. And we can't say, well, Donald Trump, before he left, oh, you can't, I mean, that was 4 years ago. You can't do that. It's like, what? No. What? Now you're not taking accountability. And that's where the problem is. They didn't read the room. If I tell you what my issue is, but I still like you, you're still family, I want to ride with you. But if you're not looking out for my best interests, I either have to ride with the other person or I just sit it out and don't ride with neither one of you.
From the French Revolution to the Arab Spring to what happened on Tuesday night here in the United States. So people clearly rejected that harsh reality of their lives, that they can't afford the most basic human task. That was the fundamental driver of this.
Okay, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. Like I said, I mean, that's my take on that. I agree with saying both of them. So yeah, so that's pretty much it on that. I would like to know what you think about it. Leave your comments below. Share with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. Hey, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you nothing but maybe a couple minutes of your day, but they mean the world to us over here. If you like to support us financially, hey, you can go to the description box. There are links there you can click on that you can support us financially, or you can give super thanks, super chats. Don't forget to go to marlonmorale.com. It's marlonmorale.com where you get 10% off your first purchase. And don't forget, there's a shop button below where right now we have on a sale on our sandalwood miniature sandalwood beard kit, which has beard balm, beard oil, and beard wash. Sandalwood is clinically proven to stimulate hair follicle growth. So if you're going to try to grow that beard or get it thicker, why not use the best product or the best fragrance or the best mineral on the planet? Sandalwood. Again, hit the shop button. Check it out. We got a sale on our little miniature beard kits, and you can shop for other things in our, our store with all our luxurious items. But with that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.